Hello, hello. Welcome to my second Sunday live. Here today to chat all about my weekend trip in San Miguel de Allende. Taylor and I just got back like 7 o'clock here now. I think we were home at like 3 o'clock. So it is very, very fresh in my mind. And I wanted to chat with you all about my impressions and to answer any questions that you have about San Miguel, because I know that it is a very talked about destination, especially among expats in Mexico. It is a hub for sure. Hi, Jim. How's it going? John, nice to see you. Howdy. Very cool. So welcome to everyone. I'm excited that you are all here for another Sunday Live. Woo! Hi, Maddie. Hi, Jordan. I just finished watching your video about San Miguel. And wow, that place that you stayed, La Chispa, that was absolutely amazing. If you are looking for a like a luxe getaway in San Miguel, the La Chispa Airbnb from Maddie and Jordan's video was wow, fab. Hi, Charles. How's it going? Greetings from Utah. Very nice. Cool. So I thought that we would just jump right into the live stream. I'm going to be taking Hola, Christoph. Working on your English, watching a live stream. Good for you. Hi, Helen. Glad to see you again. Oh, hi, Mitzi. Wow, all the way from Cambodia. What time is it there? Is it like the middle of the night? Thanks for joining. Yes, that video. Oh my gosh, I would love to stay there. And that's something that I want to talk about today is just all the different accommodation options in San Miguel. There's so much, something for every budget, every travel style. Hi, Robert. Jim, nice. I thought of you this weekend, Jim, because I had a super foodie experience on Saturday and I was like, Jim would be into this. Hi, Catherine. Oh, from Washington State. Oh my God, it's just 7 a.m. Okay, wow. So you're just waking up, or maybe you've been up for a while. I would just be waking up at 7. Very cool. When did we start? We started just a few minutes ago. So last Sunday was my first time going live here on YouTube, and it was a really great experience. I had such a nice time connecting with all of you, chatting about Querétaro, answering some questions, and doing it live again here today. So we're going to see if we make this a regular thing every Sunday. Let me know in the chat if you like 7 p.m. as a live stream time, if you enjoy live streams. I got a lot of good feedback after last week, and I had a lot of fun myself too. So hi, Ron. Buenas tardes. Hi, Chris. Alrighty. Yes, me too. Let's jump into it, Johnny. Let's talk about it. So first up, let's chat San Miguel. And I have a confession to make. I know that on the thumbnail for this live stream, I said first impressions, but I've been to San Miguel before. I have been twice. I went once when I was, oh my goodness. I don't know if my mom is here watching, but Mom, how old were we, or how old was I when we took that trip to San Luis when we were kids, when my sister and I were little, and we went to visit family in San Luis Potosí and went on a day trip with some cousins to San Miguel. So I was probably, I'm going to guess, 6 or 7 years old. So I guess that would have technically been first impressions of the city. But I also went a few years ago just for an afternoon again with Taylor and my parents when they were here in Querétaro visiting. And to be honest, I didn't leave the city with a great, I'm I'm not sure. Well, I didn't really get it. I didn't get the hype. I didn't get the vibe of the city. I was like, why is everyone so obsessed with this place? And then this weekend, or excuse me, at the start of this month, Taylor and we knew we wanted to take a little weekend trip, and we were thinking about where we wanted to go and thought, hey, why not go? I just looked at Taylor over there. And I thought, hey, why not go to San Miguel? By the way, if you'd like to see Taylor hop onto this live in a little bit and give his thoughts and feelings about San Miguel, let me know in the chat. So yes, Gregorio talking, originally from Guanajuato State or from Guanajuato City. So yes, so this was not my first time in San Miguel, but this was the first time that I spent more than an afternoon there. And I think that that's what it takes to understand and to get the magic of the city. Because I've got to say, I left this weekend feeling just, I get it. I totally understand the hype. I love it. And I cannot wait to go back. Oh, Taylor, they want to see you in here. Okay, he'll come in a little bit, I think. So first of all, I thought, now that I've got my confession out of the way, this isn't my first impression, but this is the first time I've spent more than just a few hours in the city. So let's talk the logistics of getting to San Miguel from Querétaro. Now, I've talked about this in my videos before. Taylor and I do not have a car yet. That is something that we are potentially working on in the coming months, getting a car. But really, you do not need a car to visit San Miguel from Querétaro. You don't need to rent a car. And honestly, I think it's better not to, because driving, there's a lot of one ways, there's a lot of two ways that look like one ways. The streets are really narrow, and on the weekends, parking can be a huge issue there. So it just gets really busy on the weekends. So I recommend, if you would like to visit San Miguel from Querétaro, to take the bus. There are a lot of different options for the bus. Taylor and I booked through a company called ETN, and the bus was, I love traveling by bus in Mexico. I really fell in love with traveling by bus when we lived in Spain. I think it is just a super way to travel. I know people from the US kind of have an aversion to buses, but bus travel in Mexico, especially on like the first class buses, is really comfortable. Yes, even though you've had a car for 3 years, Maddie said that you would sell in a heartbeat if you didn't have a dog. Having a car, I'm glad that we have not had a car up to this point, and that we've learned to utilize the public transportation, and especially living in the city center in Querétaro like we do. Parking, when you live in the city center anywhere, parking is tough. So that's just another thing that you have to overcome. So yes, so we took the bus from Querétaro, and wait till you hear this. I couldn't even believe this price, but we took the bus from Querétaro to San Miguel for $6 USD each way. So it was like $12 each round trip, and it was comfortable. There's movies on the bus. I think Taylor watched Bad Boys 2, or the new Bad Boys. I don't know if it's 2 or 3 or something like that, but he really liked that. Yeah, you definitely, in Querétaro, I think between the public transportation options as far as going outside of the city, like with the buses to go to places like San Miguel, Guanajuato City, Mexico City. Really, I've gotten all the way down to Oaxaca City and then onto the coast to Puerto Escondido by bus. You can do it all by bus in Mexico. You really don't need a car. So if you're not interested in one, then don't even worry about it. So we took the bus to San Miguel. The ride is about an hour, a little more than an hour, and it is just a straight shot on the highway. So that was really nice. And I did see one checkpoint on the highway on the way over there, but because we were in a bus, we didn't stop for the checkpoint. The police just waved us through. Let's see. So the logistics of it, we left on Friday. I think our bus was around 1:30, and the bus was running a little late on Friday, but we were still there about an hour and a half later. Now, where did we stay in San Miguel? We stayed at a hotel, a bed and breakfast that I found via booking.com. I spent a lot of time looking a couple weeks ago when I made the reservation, because there's just so many accommodation options. There's bed and breakfasts, there's Airbnbs, there's boutique hotels, there's little pensions that you can like stay in that are really affordable. So there's just so many options in San Miguel. I think that if you were wanting to do a longer stay there, I would definitely book if you were thinking of staying longer than a week, I would book for your first few days, and then I would check out the area and I would go into some of the hotels, because honestly, a lot of times you can get a better deal just walking into a place than you can on even a website like Booking. So we stayed at a little bed and breakfast called Casa Frida got my little prop here, Frida Kahlo, the famous Mexican artist. And this is my little crocheted Frida. So we stayed at a bed and breakfast that was in the hills up around San Miguel. So we did a lot of walking the past couple days. There are a lot of hills. It's amazing to me because San Miguel and Querétaro are so close. They're the proximity, but it's just the geography is where the city is. There are a lot of hills there. So when people ask me to compare Querétaro and San Miguel, that's the first thing that I always think of. There are a lot of hills in San Miguel and not that many hills in Querétaro. So I loved the place that we stayed. If you've seen my vlog about Puerto Escondido, my second vlog where we stayed at the Hotel Santa Fe, this place had a very similar vibe, that old Mexico feel, lots of tile, lots of plants. It was a really great place to stay. And even if you're not so much into walking, if you don't want to be going up and down the hill, that's fine. Taxis are very plentiful. The hotel called us a taxi whenever we needed one. So that is Casa Frida in San Miguel de Allende. Let's see. Nope, I think that Taylor is going to hop on in a little bit. So yes, let's see what else as far as logistics. So that's where we stayed. And I'm going to be including all of this info in my vlog this week about San Miguel de Allende. I'll show you around the hotel so you can see it for yourself. So like I said, we got there Friday afternoon and we left on Sunday. So we left today at around 1:00. And there are so many buses that you don't need to worry too much about buying your ticket in advance. We just bought ours online this morning, at breakfast. The hotel that we stayed at was a bed and breakfast. So we were eating breakfast there every morning. It was fabulous. So maybe, Taylor, you want to hop in here? Say hi? It's funny because everyone thinks that Taylor is, not everyone, but people will sometimes comment about Taylor that he's shy, and really he is not shy at all. In fact, Taylor has his own YouTube channel and makes videos about, if you've seen him over in the comments in the chat, he has a YouTube channel called Coding for Tacos where he talks about his experience becoming a web developer. Krista.
It's been a long time since I made a video, but
here he is. And I forgot to mention that I enabled finally the super chat. So if you find this live helpful, or if you want to bump your comment up, I'm kind of new to the live streaming thing, so I'm not sure how people utilize this, but you can make a little donation and I will help you, or I will answer your question or put your comment up on the screen. So Christoph says, San Miguel has a reputation of being the most gringo place in Mexico since the majority of retired Americans came to settle. We even call it Gringolandia.
I love that. That's awesome.
I think I was expecting it to be a lot more Americanized, and I was pleasantly surprised. Maybe it was the places that we went, but I didn't really get that vibe. I mean,
well,
what do you
when we
think?
spent an afternoon with Alex's parents a couple of years ago, I definitely thought of it as Gringolandia too. But
I think that's why we were kind of turned off.
when we visited that time, we pretty much, since we were only there an afternoon, we pretty much stayed right in that main, very center part of town. So I think that was why we got that impression. It felt a lot more, obviously it's a touristy place and it's not a big city, but it felt a lot more authentic this time. Um, but yeah, there are tons of hotels and boutique shops and things like that. So the retirement community does affect it big time, but I still thought it felt pretty authentic. And like we took some cab rides and it was, same prices as Querétaro.
I thought the cabs were a little more expensive there than they are in Querétaro.
Maybe a little bit.
A little bit more expensive, but overall we didn't notice like a huge difference in the prices, really. I think that there's so many restaurants in San Miguel that really helps, I guess, as far as like the competition that people or that it keeps the pricing like very reasonable, because it is a really popular destination with, I guess, gringos, with people from Canada, the US, but it's also a really popular destination with Mexicans. And I think that this weekend when we were there, I really saw a lot more. I did see some foreigners, a lot more than I see around in Querétaro, but I saw. Maybe it was like because of the pandemic. I don't know, but there weren't as many as I thought there would be.
It could be the pandemic, and we were there on a weekend, so good place to pasear.
I totally agree with this. I think that places that are more like Gringolandia, like, are places that are like along the coast, along the beach. I don't know. I didn't really get that vibe this weekend, but we also were not around like the immediate center, like around the parroquia.
I think Parroquia.
Yeah. We kind of like branched out into the side streets. We were going to like little bars and restaurants like up in the hills. So I think you definitely, you can, San Miguel isn't as small as I thought it was. You can definitely escape kind of like the tourist hot, like
the gringo zone.
The gringo zone.
I will say this though. I do think there were tons of like Mexican tourists and just tourists from all over, not just gringos, if we want to say that, but there was obviously lots of money there, like, expensive shops.
Mercedes,
I
BMW.
asked how much a wallet was in a store today, and it was almost $200 for a nice leather wallet. So,
yeah, I saw a hat that I liked, and it was more than our dinner last night.
Lots of really nice cars. You could spend a fortune on a meal if you went to the nicest restaurants in town. There is lots of money there for sure.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Helen asks, have you been to Bernal, and how would you compare the two? I have been to Bernal. We've been to Bernal a handful of times, and I actually have a vlog on my channel about it where we do the hike and hang out in town. We were there in October to kind of celebrate our Mexico-versary. And I love Bernal. It's a bajillion times smaller than San Miguel. No?
Máximamente. I took my family there when they visited, and it's really beautiful, very magical. Truly is like a pueblo mágico, and it's kind of really unique, but it feels much, much smaller than San Miguel.
Yes, much smaller, but it's totally, Bernal is amazing. Definitely worth the visit. Are there parts of San Miguel which still retain a true Mexican flair? I think definitely. I think that, to me, when we were going in the cab from the bus station up to the B&B, I said to Taylor, I was like, wow, this is Mexico. It has driving down the cobblestone streets and the buildings, each one painted a different color, but somehow still all going together. It's it's a beautiful city. It's obviously very well manicured. They're putting an effort into maintaining that aesthetic, but it definitely feels like Mexico to me. But there's also so I guess if you're talking about true Mexican flair, I think if you're talking about old Mexico, there's definitely that. But I think also the Mexico, the modern Mexico that I love, definitely has a big presence there in San Miguel with the boutiques and the cocktail bars, and I think that's there
All
there
the
too.
art. There's
All the
lots of a
art.
ton of art galleries there.
Yes.
Even in one of the main parks there, Parque Juarez. We were there Saturday, right? We were there
Right.
on Saturday, and I don't know, maybe 20 or that might be an exaggeration, but at least 10 different artists had set out all kinds of art along the sidewalk there, and people were strolling by, taking a look. Some people were buying things, but
We bought some things. We bought a couple little
I feel like
paintings.
there's a lot of culture there, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Definitely. Oh, hi, Marla. Glad to have you here. Let's see. So those are really I guess, the main logistics. The only other thing that I was going to mention was it was kind of a special occasion for Taylor and I. We were celebrating our anniversary. So for those of you who don't know, Taylor and I have been together. This was our 11-year anniversary, and we celebrate our anniversary on the day that we went to prom together. Taylor was my date to my senior prom. So
She hasn't gotten rid of me yet.
so that was 11 years ago yesterday, and we are getting married in Mexico this coming year. So we're excited about that. So that was our last anniversary, just as, I guess, boyfriend and girlfriend. All right, let's see. Oh, hi, Miguel. Thank you. Thank you.
There are basketball courts.
There are basketball courts. People were hooping.
I saw, I mean, I think this is true about a lot of Mexico, but in a lot of just the off the beaten path neighborhoods that we took a cab through or whatever, I saw plenty of basketball courts. But I think that the basketball courts in Parque Juarez, which is one of the main parks there, it's kind of known, I think, to always have people playing there. And we were there in the kind of early-ish morning, but there were, people playing already, not competitively, but there were some kids there, and there were people shooting hoops basically. And yeah, I definitely think there would be, especially if you took a ball, you could find lots of people to play with at plenty of
Right.
courts.
And I really hate to I try not to compare cities when I'm visiting. But if there was any time that I got jealous of San Miguel and was I wish Querétaro had this, it was on Saturday morning when we were walking through Parque Juarez. It was just a lovely little place. I mean, there were families, there was the art for sale.
Yeah.
We do have some parks here in Querétaro, but nothing like Parque Juarez in the immediate center like that. We have a Parque Alameda, which has been closed I think it was closed even before the pandemic. They were doing some work on it. And so I don't even remember what it's like to walk around there. It's been closed for so long.
And it is nice, but I thought the park in San Miguel was much nicer. And you can easily get to some parks here in Querétaro, but green space is kind of lacking. That's true.
Yes. How was the weather in SMA? Great question. The weather was perfect. I thought when we woke up this morning and we're eating breakfast, I actually had to go upstairs to my room to get a jacket because it was kind of chilly. We were staying up in the hills, but it's a lot like Querétaro where it gets very, very hot during the day. Actually, on Saturday afternoon, I ended up booking a massage just for something to do to get out of the heat, because you can only drink and eat so much. So I booked a massage on Saturday afternoon. I think Taylor, you went and like took a siesta, no?
Mm-hmm.
Just to beat the heat, because during the day it gets hot, hot, hot. I know when Maddie and Jordan were there doing their videos last couple weeks ago now, they said that it was one of the hottest weeks in San Miguel, and it has been very hot in Querétaro lately, and it was equally hot during the day in San Miguel. But it was really nice because at nighttime it got super cool. Like you did
Oh
need a
yeah.
jacket at night.
And I think these are the hottest months of the year, I think. So
Right. So did you guys like the architecture? I did. The
yeah.
architecture was incredible. The church is like none other. I mean, because we lived in Spain and now in Mexico, I feel like I have seen a lot of churches. But this is, I mean, there's no other church like this in the world. It is very, very impressive and worth the visit for sure. How is the air quality in San Miguel? I mean, we were going up and down hills, like huffing and puffing, but that was just due to the incline. I thought the air quality was good. I mean, in the morning it was a little hazy over the city, but I didn't notice anything. What do you
I
think?
would say it's all similar in this part of the country. It's still pretty much the desert, so it's like a semi-arid climate. So it can be dusty on some days without a doubt. But yeah, I mean, I felt like the air quality was good just based on our experience this weekend.
Right.
Seemed
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. I thought it was good. Nothing to complain about. Juan Carlos says in Querétaro there is Cerro de las Campanas. That is true.
We do
Yeah,
like that
we
part.
do like Cerro de las Campanas. That is very true. But yeah, it's not like Parque Juarez. I don't know, the greenery in Parque Juarez was just so impressive, and also the art for sale there. But you're right,
Cerro de las Campanas is beautiful, though, no
Cerro de
doubt.
las
It's
Campanas
like
is,
super manicured, I feel like.
yeah, and that huge statue of Benito Juarez, like, bam.
Yeah, it's impressive.
So let's see. How warm does it get in San Miguel? Hi, Jim from Galveston, Texas. Okay, so you're from the US because you're from Galveston, Texas, so I can talk in Fahrenheit. I think the hottest I saw on my phone on just like the little readout there was 88 when we were there.
Because it's close to Querétaro, I think it's probably about the same, and it rarely gets on a very, very, very hot day. It might get, low 90s or like 33 Celsius. But that's during the hottest part of the year, and it's a very dry heat. So even on a day like that, at night, it'll probably even get down to the 60s, high 50s, or like 13, 14 Celsius.
I mean, you're from Texas, so you know what's up. If you like the heat, well, I like dry heat all day.
Yeah, I don't like humidity.
As soon as we get to the humidity, I'm like, ugh. Let's see. Yes, we saw so many amazing door knockers. We saw some frogs. Honestly, the architecture there, like it's I love it.
It's clear they take a lot of pride in
one of the things that I'll talk about in the YouTube vlog this week about San Miguel, I want to share my tips for how to really enjoy San Miguel and make the most out of your time there. Kind of what I did wrong on my first visit there and why I left, not really understanding the hype of the city and what we did differently the second time around. So one of those things is, getting away from that immediate city center, from the parroquia, from like kind of going off into the side streets, because that's where the magic of the city is, I think. And a lot of that is just like, little details like the door knockers, like a fountain, like, the colors of the houses. It was just, to me, that's where the magic of the city is. Sounds like there are now more affordable options for staying there. So just to kind of give you an example, the place that we stayed, Casa Frida, I want to say, and I will provide the exact details in the video this week, but I think it was around $70 a night. But that was with breakfast included, and the breakfasts were impressive. They were homemade. They served you. It was good. You had chilaquiles this morning.
If you want to be near the center, it's not the cheapest place in Mexico to stay,
Mm-hmm.
but probably compared to places like Cancun or Tulum, it's better than that maybe.
There with a couple. Yes, I think we did see some bikers. We saw some bikers. We saw some people on Vespas, that kind of thing. But I think for me, even the cobblestone was hard to walk on sometimes.
I feel like I saw quite a few bikers, but I like to ride my bike here in Cairo, but I don't think I would do it there in San Miguel. But we did see more than a few people riding their bikes.
Right, we did. Um, yes. Have you visited Guanajuato Capital? How would you compare it to San Miguel? We have visited Guanajuato City, the capital of Guanajuato, and this was a few years ago now. And we still talk about it, that it's one of the most underrated places in Mexico. And when we first got to San Miguel,
Did we go twice to Guanajuato?
no, just been
Okay.
once. But
Huh.
there are a lot of similarities between San Miguel and Guanajuato. What Taylor said this weekend about it, which I think I completely agree and was like is very true. Guanajuato is a little bit more of like a party vibe. Like there's a big university there. There's like a lot of students, like
Felt
people.
more like a university town to me.
Yes, where like San Miguel, I think maybe that's where the kind of like the expat community and the retiree community, maybe they kind of it's more of like a refined chill. It's more
They did
low
seem very
key, I
similar
think.
though overall.
But as far as looks, they're both beautiful cities. Both beautiful
They're both
cities.
like in valleys.
I absolutely love Guanajuato and can't wait to go back there.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. How are the mosquitoes? Last weekend, I didn't notice any mosquitoes.
Didn't see a single one.
Didn't see a single mosquito. So I don't know. I honestly have no idea why we've been talking about this all week, or excuse me, we were talking about it for my video last week a little bit about the mosquitoes. And Taylor doesn't think that they're an issue here. I always feel like there's one buzzing around and it just drives me nuts. Let's see. Yeah, so the drive there is about an hour, and that's how the bus ride was. The yeah, it was about an hour, a little over an hour.
I think I didn't keep track of how long it actually took us, but I think on the ticket it said like an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, everyone is not old there. We were there. And we fit in just fine. There were lots and lots of young people. I think especially the places that we went, I got a bunch of recommendations from my friend Louise, who I did the house tour with a couple weeks ago, and her uncle lives in San Miguel, so she's been a bunch of times, and the places that she gave us to visit were absolutely fabulous. Some really fun restaurants with great cocktails, and yeah, there's kind of like a spot for everybody in San Miguel.
mm-hmm.
But no, definitely not everyone. No, not everyone there is retiree age, or there's lots of young people there. Let's see. I would give this to you guys, but I'm not sure how to do it.
Not sure about golf though. I know there are golf courses there, but I'm not really sure how affordable they are. Probably not too bad compared to U.S. prices, but just because there is a lot of wealth in San Miguel, I'm sure there are some. At least I'm sure there are some courses that are fairly expensive or exclusive, but
Right.
But there might be some affordable options too. I don't know about that.
We didn't go to the thermal baths this trip, but are hoping to do that maybe next time. We'd like to go back and do some of the the thermal baths outside of the city. I think it'd also be really fun. I think San Miguel could be a great place to go. We saw a lot of families there. So we saw like groups of young people there. Obviously, we saw like, the kind of like the retiree community. And we also saw families there. I think it would be a great place to go with kids or with grandkids, because there were four-wheeler tours, there was horseback riding tours. So yeah. Let's see, but I think that there definitely is a bar nightclub scene, or
more of a bar scene than a
scene.
nightclub scene. Yeah.
But I would say that there's a lot of live music there. But right now with the pandemic, things are shutting down around 10 o'clock. I don't think much is open there right now after 10, 11 o'clock at night.
But I think even in normal times, I'm sure there are plenty of places to dance, things like that. But I don't really think there are nightclubs per se. More of a bar scene, but lots of nightlife on the weekends, I think, in normal times.
Right. Yes. So we went actually to a bar on Friday night called Paprika. And there was we got there right at the end, but there was a live band there, and it was out in a, so you entered off the street, and then there was like a terrace, or not a terrace. There was like just an open
courtyard,
garden, or open courtyard on the inside. And that's something that I just wanted to touch on, as far as San Miguel and traveling right now, especially during the pandemic, what it was like. Everything there is really open air. Like all the restaurants, a lot of restaurants even have like outside even though you walk in off of the street, there's like a courtyard inside. So
or a rooftop.
Lots of rooftops in San Miguel. I think that there are some vegan restaurants there, even for as small as Querétaro, or excuse me, not Querétaro, for as small as San Miguel is, there's pretty much anything there. I did see some natural food stores in the city center, and there's also bigger stores too. There's not a Costco, but we saw a La Comer there. There's lots of big supermarkets too.
But almost every restaurant we went to had vegan options on the menu. So
yes,
yeah,
it's trendy. Yeah. So I don't think we've talked about this a lot before, that if you're vegan, you should not have trouble finding vegan options in Mexico, because people are very accommodating with their menus, and there's lots of plant-based plates in Mexico. Not all of us old people are old. Yes, go
we
Anita.
We agree.
Right, La Comer. They're good. So yeah, questions about San Miguel. If anyone else has questions about the city, or I guess we can also take thanks, Taylor, for hopping in here.
See everybody.
See, Taylor does talk. If anyone else has questions about San Miguel, I think you're going to get started on dinner now.
Maybe.
Right. So if anyone else has questions about San Miguel, or I can also take a few minutes here to answer some questions about Querétaro. If you had any questions after this week's video, I answered a bunch of questions about about Querétaro in this week's video over on my channel, which I also went about a day in my life here, went to the market, went up to one of my favorite places to exercise in the city. So if you haven't seen that yet, when are we all going? Oh my gosh, that would be so fun. I think that San Miguel would be a really fun place if you're celebrating like a special occasion, or you just want to like have a get together with some friends. It would be really, really fun. How far is it from Querétaro to San Miguel? It was about a little longer than an hour bus ride, about like an hour and 15, and it's about the same in the car. It's pretty much a straight shot on the road there. I felt very safe when we were in San Miguel. We were out walking at night in the city center. We walked up to our hotel at night. That was up in the hills, just kind of on the edge of the city center. And I felt very safe, just like I do walking around here in in Querétaro at night. I know that there has been an increase in kind of, I guess, crime in the state of Guanajuato, but San Miguel, from all accounts, is a very safe city. Let's see. When you ordered your bus tickets online, could you do that on the phone? We ordered them via the website, the ETN website. So all the first carrier, you could just show up to the bus station and buy your tickets there too, if you didn't want to do it on the phone or do it on the computer. But you can also just order them online, and then they got sent to your phone, and then there was no money exchanged at the bus station. All right. Thanks, Anita. Thanks for joining. So, yes, any other questions? Oops. Does SMA have any non-expat areas? I prefer real Mexican experience, and I speak Spanish fluently. I think that I'm not familiar with where the expat community lives in San Miguel, but I can tell you, we touched on this. I don't know if you were here at the beginning of the beginning of the live stream, Steve, but I didn't really get like an overly expatty, overly gringo vibe from San Miguel at all. I don't know if that was because of the pandemic. I don't know if it's kind of like, since it's kind of like the end of the winter season right now, or what it was. But I thought that the city did have like a real Mexican vibe. It felt very Mexico to me. It definitely, it didn't feel overly expatty at all. And Taylor and I both speak Spanish, and we didn't have, sometimes in really touristy destinations, this is extremely common, at least in my experience, in the Riviera Maya, in Cancun, down there, that people will just come up to you and immediately start speaking to you in English. And that was not our experience in San Miguel at all. Let's see. I think that the nightlife there is lively right now because of the pandemic. Most things are closing down around 10, 11 o'clock at night, but there's still lots of live music going on. We went to like a little cafe bar on Friday night, and they were just finishing up a live show there. So that kind of stuff is still going on despite the pandemic. Let's see. Kind of checking over here for questions. I'm trying to keep this right around an hour, so we'll kind of be wrapping up soon here. So get your questions in, and if you're finding the live stream helpful, if you want to donate via super chat, that is always really, really appreciated. So Mitzi wants to know, how is the e-payment scene in Querétaro and San Miguel? Still heavily cash-based in COVID times, or new options popping up? So, and feel free, anyone that has more experience with this than I do. I don't have an iPhone, so I'm not really sure if like Apple Pay is a big thing in Querétaro or in San Miguel, but obviously for street vendors and that kind of thing, you're going to be paying in cash. But everywhere we went, restaurants, bars, you can pay with a credit card. So to me, sometimes it's easier just to pay in cash, but most places have a credit card reader. So in Mexico, you ask for the terminal, and they bring the credit card reader to your table. They'll ask if you want the check to be open or closed. And that just means if you want to include the tip there. So you can say 10%, 15%, 20%, whatever, or you can tell them that you're going to leave the tip in cash, in efectivo. So let's see. Querétaro is one of the most credit card friendly cities we visited in all of Mexico. We haven't done much e-payment stuff though. PayPal is also really big here in Mexico, in Querétaro. Hi, Nicolas. Hello. Thanks for joining us from California. When do you plan on having the official sign up for your new forum on May 1st? thank you for asking about this, Jim, because I did want to touch on my Move to Mexico membership site, but really quick, let's see. Okay, yes. Tipping here, I think I would say like 10%, 10%, 15% is pretty normal. Just like in the US, if you received outstanding service, you could give more. But yeah, 10, 15% I think is pretty standard for people. Let's see. So yes, I wanted to talk about my new Move to Mexico membership site, which I am launching on May 1st. So the Move to Mexico membership site. If you weren't here at last week's live, I introduced it then, but right now there is a waitlist sign up. You can go to backpackingbrunette.com/waitlist to add your name, and I'm going to be emailing everyone tomorrow with more details, but the doors will officially open on next Saturday. And it's going to be, you have to sign up in the first 4 days to lock it in at $17 US per month, and you can cancel anytime, but it'll be $17 US per month. And we have some really exciting benefits that I'm really excited about and that I think will provide a lot of value to you if you are planning on moving to Mexico. So first up, we're going to have the monthly exclusive Q&As. So if you saw my video this past Thursday where I was answering questions about living in Querétaro, I'm going to make one of those every single month, answering your questions, the questions that you send me if you are a member. So you'll get an exclusive video just to you every single month. We're also going to have a members only forum where I'm hoping, for example, to share a destination in the forum, like San Miguel would be a topic. And then people can share recommendations. We can, tips for visiting, favorite spots. Also, other topics such as moving to Mexico in general. So it'll be a great place to connect with other people passionate about Mexico, interested in moving to Mexico, traveling around Mexico. And I really plan on keeping this highly, highly curated. I'm going to be spending a lot of time there myself in the forum, interacting with you, answering questions, and just making sure that it stays drama free, because we don't want that. Also, discounts on my products like the Move to Mexico, the Mexico Residency Roadmap, and my clarity calls. So I offer 30-minute and hour-long clarity calls, and when you're a member, you will get a special discount on those. Also, a monthly Mexico Mixer via Zoom. So if you like this live, but would also like to be able to talk to me, we're going to have a monthly Mexico Mixer via Zoom. And I'm planning one for Cinco de Mayo, because I know people from the US, we love Cinco de Mayo. So I'm going to be talking about the story, the history behind Cinco de Mayo. And it'll also just be a chance to connect. So again, the waitlist for that is backpackingbrunette.com/waitlist. Add your name, and I will be emailing out tomorrow about the membership with more details. And of course, I will be answering your questions about it. So I'm really, really excited about that. Let's see, just check in over here for anything else. I think you definitely, if you don't need a car in Querétaro, I really don't think that you need one in San Miguel, because it is a lot smaller. And there's lots of taxis in the city. There's public transportation like buses, and also it is walkable. Let's see. When? Oh, thank you, Craig. Thank you for your donation. That really helps to make sure that I can keep doing these lives on Sunday. And it just is helpful to know that I am helping all of you. So Christoph wants to know, when can we see the video of your visit to San Miguel? I have so much footage to go through, but I am going to be editing that tomorrow, and it will be up on Thursday. So yes, I just wanted to show you, I'll do it this way. This is the when you go to backpackingbrunette.com waitlist, you can add your email and your name here, and you will be the first to know when the doors are open. So, like it's to the Mexico membership site. So, I'm going to be taking your feedback on this site, and I really want it to make it as value packed as possible so that you can really get that help that you need, the reassurance, the confidence that you need for moving to Mexico. This is something that I'm really, really excited about. And I think that you're going to find really, really helpful. So that's what the little wait list looks like. So add your name so we can hang out in the monthly Mexico Mixer, so I can answer your questions with those exclusive Q&As, so you can get access to the forum and the discounts. Let's see. Hello from Michigan, Sandra B. I've been planning a recon trip, but which site is the most reliable for travel alerts? They're conflicting at times. When you say travel alerts, are you talking about safety, like the State Department? Or are you talking about getting notifications about flights and that kind of stuff? Because I think for safety, the State Department is, if you're from the US, is kind of the gold standard. And then for flight alerts, if you haven't heard of Scott's Cheap Flights, check them out. Scott's Cheap Flights. They are great for scoring cheap flights. Hey, Trish. Need to get as good at all your tricks going. This is awesome. Glad to have you here. You'll have to come to Querétaro. Let me know when you're here. Thanks so much, Johnny. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yep. I would look at the US State Department's, their website. Yes, tell your pal to come to Querétaro. All right. Does anybody have any other questions about the Move to Mexico membership site or about San Miguel de Allende? Let me know. I'll give you a second to get those questions over here. Yes, Scott's Cheap Flights is great. Wow, Ted Rock's got a round trip to Cancun for $149 from NYC. Let's see. Woo! Querétaro! Very cool. Oh, you're going to be escaping those cold Canada winters. Any plans to travel to Puerto Vallarta? You know what? I have not been to Puerto Vallarta yet. That was a place that was on the list before the pandemic, that we were planning on going there, and it just hasn't happened. But I would love to go and visit. One of my pals, Courtney the Explorer, she has a YouTube channel too, is over there in Puerto Vallarta right now, and it looks, I think you can't live in Mexico and have never been to Puerto Vallarta. I really, really need to go. Let's see. Have you been noticing the cost of living going up in Mexico? I guess I'm planning on doing a video in a couple of weeks. I think it's on my content calendar for it, talking about how my rent goes up, how much my rent has gone up each year since moving to Mexico. And if there's any other specifics that you're interested in for me to compare or try to compare from when we first moved here to now, let me know. But my rent has gone up every year. It is common for landlords here to adjust for inflation. Yes, Jim, add your name to the wait list. Miguel, did you see the video that I did with Tangerine Travels a couple weeks ago? Let's see. All righty. Oops. I'm planning to take my Canadian 5 weeks parental leave for fathers in September, and I would like to know if I can get in under 5 weeks while I stay there. Well, you'll have to start the temporary residency process while you're in Canada. And you'll have to go to the consulate there. And then here in Mexico, you can get it usually it should take about a month in Querétaro. If you've seen my video about it, it took longer than that, but that was due to the pandemic. Right now, the turnaround, especially if you're working with an immigration consultant like Yvonne from Host Relocation, I think that her contact information is in the description of this video. But if you're working with somebody who can pretty much get your application pushed to the top of the pile, then you should be able to get it back definitely within 5 weeks. A month is pretty standard. All right, what is Querétaro like right after the new year? I'm looking to book a trip. Querétaro, in January, Querétaro is cold. So if you're okay with that, if you're okay with bundling up, I mean, I don't know where you're from, Tabitha, but not too cold. I'm from Michigan, but I do have to wear a jacket in January and February here. So it's kind of a downtime for tourism, though. So if you like that, that could be a good time to visit. I had some friends here for New Year's who came to visit a few years back, and we had a really, really good time. So, all righty. Define cold. Remind me where you're from, Helen, and I can compare it to that. I'm from Michigan, and compared to Michigan, it is not cold. It's like embarrassing that I would even say that January is cold here. It probably gets down to like the 40s or the 30s at night here. I was just looking over to Taylor for confirmation. But yeah, we don't have heating in our house either. So it doesn't get so cold where that would be necessary. New England, you'll be fine. Bring a jean jacket. All righty. So yes, if you enjoyed this live, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Let me know. And I'll see if we should keep doing these lives on Sunday. If you like 7 o'clock, if there are any specific topics that you would like for me to touch on in the lives, I always like to do a Q&A little session, but I think it's nice to have like a general topic. So if you have some topic ideas, then let me know. Thank you, Gil. So kind. I really appreciate these donations to the super chat. It's 37 degrees where I live in Michigan today. Woo! Oh, I don't even remember what 37 degrees feels like. Keep doing the live. Very well. I'm glad to hear that you are enjoying the lives, Jim. Enjoyed it. I am looking forward to the next time. Me too. Well, I am going to sign off, everyone. Thank you again so much. I have really enjoyed doing these the past 2 weeks. Thanks for coming and spending an hour with me on your Sunday night. I really appreciate it. And again, give this video a thumbs up. Keep an eye out on my channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell for my San Miguel de Allende vlog on Thursday. I'm going to show you around the hotel. I'm going to show you what we did. I'm going to show you all the spots that you have got to visit when you come to Querétaro and make a trip to San Miguel. I'm going to be sharing my tips for how you can make the most out of your trip to San Miguel so you don't leave not getting the magic. I want you to experience the magic. Yes, thank you for joining me. Thanks, Helen. Thank you, Phil. Thanks, Maddie and Jordan. I'm gonna have to get you guys over on a live. If you guys can plug in, that would be really, really fun. Oh, thanks, Miguel. Glad that you're here. All right, everybody, I will see you in my next video on Thursday. Don't forget to join the waitlist, backpackingbrunette.com. I'm going to be .com/waitlist. I'm going to be emailing everybody tomorrow with more information about the Move to Mexico membership site. Thank you again. I will see you all next time. Good night.